Okay, we've got to talk about meme coins. You know, that corner of the crypto world that went from being an inside joke to a multi-billion-dollar market force, basically overnight. So how did we get here? And more importantly, what is this crazy, chaotic market actually telling us about the future of crypto? Let's dive in.
You know, just a few years back, the whole idea of a meme coin was just that, a joke. It was internet humor built on top of blockchain tech. They were fun, they went viral, sure, but nobody was taking them all that seriously. They were the fun little side bets, definitely not the main event.
But you fast forward to 2025 and, well, everything's changed. This year, meme coins proved they could do a lot more than just go viral. They became a real-time, high-fidelity signal for market sentiment, for capital flows, and for the stories driving the entire crypto market.
And if you need a number to really wrap your head around the scale of this thing, there it is. At its peak, the meme coin market cap soared past $150 billion. That's not some niche market anymore. That's a number that's big enough to compete with entire blockchain ecosystems. This was retail conviction on a massive, massive scale. You know, this one quote from an analysis by Aave.ai just nails the new role of meme coins perfectly. They basically became the canary in the coal mine for crypto. They were the bleeding edge where you could see exactly where money was rushing in, and maybe even more importantly, where it was about to rush out.
So how on earth did this happen, right? How did this silly internet money, coins based on literal jokes, transform into one of the most revealing market signals we have in crypto? Well, there are a few key things that drove this, so let's get into it. Okay, so the first and maybe the most important piece of the puzzle is just the raw power of a good story. In the super fast world of meme coins, a simple, powerful narrative proved to be way more effective at pulling in money than some complex 10-year roadmap ever could be. And you can really see that shift right here. On one side, you've got traditional crypto, right? It's all about fundamentals, white papers, technical details. But then on the other side, you have meme coins. And they're competing on a story you can get in 2 seconds and an emotion that makes you want to act now. They didn't replace fundamentals, they just replaced hesitation.
So what did these winning stories actually look like? Well, we saw political meme coins that basically turned real-world elections into financial assets. We saw all these AI-themed tokens that were just brilliantly piggybacking on the huge tech trends everyone was already talking about. And then, of course, you have the classics. Cultural memes so strong they need zero explanation.
And here's the crucial point. The tokens that made sense immediately, visually, culturally, politically, they just sucked in liquidity at a blinding speed. In this game, being understood in an instant was way more valuable than being technically complicated.
But look, a good story is one thing. It's not enough if you can't act on it, right? You need the tech to match. And that's where infrastructure became the secret weapon, letting this entire market finally move at the true speed of the internet.
And just look at this timeline. It's insane. The entire life of a meme coin got squished down into just a few days, sometimes even hours. A coin could launch, hit peak frenzy, see the smart money bail, and then just fade into nothing, all in the span of a single work week. You blink, you miss the whole thing.
So how is this kind of speed even possible? Well, it was really a perfect storm of tech upgrades. Launching a token went from being this complex coding problem to just a few clicks. Blockchains, especially ones like Solana, got so fast and cheap that a trade cost, pennies? And on top of all that, traders got access to real-time data that let them make decisions in milliseconds. And when a market's entire cycle only lasts for 48 hours, the time it takes for you to get information, what they call latency, is literally everything. It's the razor-thin line between making money and losing it. Speed became the ultimate edge.
Now, with all this speed and chaos, you might be thinking, this is just pure gambling. But the traders who actually managed to survive this weren't just guessing. They were separating the signal from all that deafening noise, using hard data to fight that emotional pull of FOMO.
And this right here is the absolute key to understanding the modern meme coin game: pattern recognition. It's all about having the discipline to trade based on what the blockchain data is actually telling you, not just what social media hype is screaming at you. It's about checking every story against on-chain reality. So what are these patterns they're looking for using these on-chain analysis tools? Well, they're seeing big clusters of wallets all buying in at the same time. They're spotting huge movements of liquidity that happen before the price starts to move. They're tracking how the sophisticated money jumps from one hot narrative to the next. And crucially, they see the patterns of those early exits before public opinion even has a chance to catch on.
So the lesson from looking at millions and millions of these trades is pretty clear. The winners in this brutally competitive space weren't just the fastest ones. They were the most informed. In today's meme coin world, just going with your gut isn't going to cut it anymore.
So, what's the big takeaway here? What does this all mean? Well, it turns out meme coins aren't just some casino on the side. They now act like a powerful, unfiltered mirror, reflecting the raw psychology, the fear, and the greed of the crypto market, all in real time.
Just take a look at this. As the year went on, search interest and social media talk about meme coins just plummeted by over 80% from their peak. Now, if you just glance at that, you might see that steep drop-off and think, well, that was a failure.
But it wasn't a failure at all. Actually, it was the ultimate proof of concept. It proved what meme coins really are. They're high-speed sentiment instruments. They're designed to expand and contract with the market's attention. They're not meant to be held forever like a stock. Their volatility is the whole point. It's the feature that makes them such a useful indicator.
So, where do we go from here? Well, meme coins aren't going away. They're just evolving. We can probably expect to see tokens designed even more cleverly around specific timely stories. We'll likely see even faster jumps between hot themes and an even deeper connection with all the high-speed trading tech that powers this whole thing. And this really is the ultimate lesson from this whole phenomenon. In a market that is completely defined by speed, noise, and powerful stories, the real edge, the real alpha, it isn't about being the loudest or chasing every single trend. It's about seeing the market clearly.
Which leaves us with one last fascinating question. If meme coins really are a mirror reflecting the raw, unfiltered conviction of the market, what on earth is that mirror going to show us next?